Jacobs Hillman Race Face Digital. Aric, congratulations. Couple for you. First, you talked about the importance of what you guys needed to do for the Owners' Championship, and we've seen this from JGR year after year. You've been a part of it this year. Can you talk about what you've experienced in being a part of this all-star car racing for the Owners' Championship, and then kind of what it means to Steve and Joe and everybody in the JGR Xfinity program?
Well, it's huge. When I sat down with Coach at the Roval last year, we talked about what it would look like, and like I told you guys in here in the spring, like the very first conversations with Coach was, hey, what do you think about racing all year and going to go try and win a championship in the Xfinity Series? And I said, Coach, I cannot tell my wife that I am retiring from full-time racing to go full-time racing. And we talked about it for a while, and he said, well, you know, if we run a limited schedule, I think the goal should still be to go and race for an Owners' Championship. And that was our deal from the get-go. When I left his bus after that meeting, I walked away, and that was the plan. And here we are. Not always do you get to execute a plan because it's hard. It is not a given. And certainly after the race we had at Las Vegas, where we lost power steering and gave up a bunch of points there, I was nervous. I felt like it was going to slip through our fingers, and then we showed up yesterday and did not have the car we needed, and I was like, oh no. And I drove home last night as soon as qualifying was over. Alex was playing in a championship baseball game last night, and I hurried home, and for 2 hours home I went back and forth with Tyler Allen, my crew chief, on what we needed to do, what the car was doing, what I needed it to do, and they made some adjustments today before the start of the race, and my car was phenomenal. So that is a testament to the team, right? Like, I can only drive the car as fast as the car will let me, and yesterday it was not good enough. I was a fifth place car yesterday, and they made the right adjustments going into the race today, and we had the dominant car. So just really proud of Tyler, our engineers, my car chief Gainey, John, just everybody that works so hard to bring the best race car to the racetrack. It's so much fun every time you strap into a race car thinking you can win.
Before I ask my second question, who's been having more fun with these celebrations, you or Alex?
Alex. I don't know. I'm having a lot of fun. It's so cool to be able to experience this. Like, it's so euphoric. Like, I work so hard, and they see me at home on my computer, looking at notes, looking at SMT, studying data, talking to my crew chief, talking to my engineers, going to the shop, sitting in meetings. They see how hard I work, and so when they get to be here and share in the celebration, it means a lot to me and to our family, because racing, from the day that they were born, honestly from the day that Janice and I got married, racing has always been what we do. It's not what I do, it's what we do. And they've come to the racetrack, you know, my entire career, probably 75-80% of the races. They fly home Sunday night after cup races, get home at midnight, get up at 6 in the morning for school. And that's a sacrifice. You know, I know it's awesome, and they live an amazing lifestyle because of it, but it is a sacrifice. And to share in these joyous moments is just, it's really gratifying.
John Newby, Savage Ventures. So I was curious, obviously you proved you could win at every level of NASCAR. You know, that was never in doubt, but is it sweeter knowing that you can just go out and dominate races like this when you have equipment that is top tier every single time you're in the car? Yeah, of course it's sweeter because it's always fun to win, right? But for me, it honestly is, it's validation, right? Like, I worked so hard throughout my career, and I wanted more success, right? I wanted to win more cup races. I wanted to contend for a cup championship. It never happened, right? And my life will go on, and I'll be fine with that. I sleep totally fine at night. I have come to terms, and I'm at peace with that. But for me to have this opportunity, like, if racing would have ended at Phoenix last year, and that would have been my last race ever when I climbed out of the cup car, I would have been okay with that. But the fact that Coach gave me this opportunity, I felt like it was an open door from the Lord, and we we're doing it together, and to have the success and to compete at this level is validation for me, just to know that when I have good cars and fast cars and a good pit crew and everything is lined up, that I can get the job done.
Given the many years that you've put into NASCAR and your career, and even the last 10 years, wanting to be part of, ending the season in a Final Four in the Cup Series, and now to be able to do what you're doing this year and be in a version of it on the owner's side this year, is that personally gratifying or rewarding that you get to have that moment that you go to Phoenix and you're going to be a part of that Final Four environment in some way?
Yeah, it's incredibly gratifying. Yeah, I mean, I guess, sorry to take this question and point it back to, my faith, but in 2018, I came up short of making it to the Final Four. I won at Talladega to get into the round of 8. I ran really good in the round of 8. We went to Phoenix, and I almost passed. I ran wheel to wheel with Kyle Busch for the lead for a while, and I wasn't able to complete the pass cleanly, and I didn't have it in me to move them or to wreck them to try and make it to Homestead to race for a championship, and I came up short that day, and I ended up finishing 5th in the points that year in Cup, and I was really dejected. I was really disappointed and dejected. That was my first year at SHR, and I was just like, gosh, why? Why not me? Come on, God. Why not me? And I just realized in that moment over that off season, that's not number one for me, and it doesn't have to be number one. And so that off season, I made a little card that I ended up laminating it, and it had a picture of Christ on the cross. It had a picture of me with my family, and then it had a picture of a Cup championship trophy below it. And I had it in my bathroom, on my mirror in my bathroom, and I've had it there for the last several years. And it's just always a reminder that racing is priority number 3 in my life. And so, yes, going to race for a championship is amazing. I am incredibly grateful to have that opportunity, but whether I win a championship or I don't win a championship, it's not going to define who I am.
And with that said, recognizing the first and second tiers of that pillar, could this be the start of kind of a second act of your career? Can you keep doing this, be the guy that gets called?
No way. We've had this conversation, and my wife says no way. So, and I'm good with that. I really am. It is so much fun to come and do this, but I say it often. I think I told you guys at Kansas, I know you understand the grind. You guys are at the racetrack every single week, right? For me, this year, I didn't have to go to the racetrack every week. I wasn't at Pocono. Yay. I didn't have to go to Coda, right? I didn't have to go to those racetracks, and I was at home, or we were traveling to go watch a Major League Baseball game. I have loved this year. It has been so fun to race the car, but not have to go every weekend. And I know that is so hard for people to understand, because people are like, oh, you're so lucky, you have the coolest job in the world and all those things. Yes, you're absolutely right. I have the coolest job in the world. But it doesn't matter who you are or what job you have. At some point, it becomes a job. And the more you do it every single week, year after year after year, it feels more and more and more like a job. So this year, being able to do it on my terms and having as much off time as I've had, I do not think that this is going to sway me into a second act, for sure.
But is this the end next week?
I don't know.
All right.
Thanks.
And with that, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations.
Thank you, guys. I really do appreciate you guys. I really, really do. And I mean that. The fact that you guys show up every single week, it's awesome. I get it. But I like that I don't have to.